Nothing is more perfect than the pure, untouched beauty of nature. The things man can never make or recreate, no matter how hard we try. Life is filled with things worth doing and things that are not. That which we are most passionate about is what we believe to be worthwhile. Everything else seems to be wasteful and lacking. Being passionate isn't just about knowing, it's also about feeling. Time's Passion Trails is a unique travel experience which helps one actualize his or her passion.
I have never done anything like this before in my life.
This is a journey that lets you live what you love.
It's not just about covering the distances. You have to ride tough.
It's not for everybody, and if you haven't done the practice, then you shouldn't be doing it at all.
An experience of 10 days of unparalleled adrenaline rush with Rajesh Kalra, leading the group through the bicycle ride that is often termed the biking equivalent of climbing the Everest.
500 kilometers through some of the highest passes in the world, extreme conditions. Is it doable?
I mean, until you do it, you would not know what you're missing.
In this episode, mountain biking enthusiasts face a challenge of the highest kind.
Two of them, their oxygen level and the pulse rate were at dangerous levels. We're just not in a position to take any risk.
I don't think it matters what age or what level of fitness you have. If it affects you, it affects you.
Let's step onto the pedal of these participants who actually live this dream.
The idea was that there are so many things which a person looks and wants to do, but he has no clue how to actualize that passion. And when we were discussing the ideas of Time's Passion Trails, this was one of the things that came to our mind, that if we try and identify what is it that a person would want to do, cycling on the highest long distance road in the world would definitely be one of the things that a person would want to do.
This cycling trail, for example, would probably trigger similar cycling activities, across the country.
So wishing you guys all the very best and a safe trip. Cheers, guys.
Trails like this will help us promote destinations within India, the lesser known destinations, and also encourage people to participate and follow their true inner passion.
Normally people tend to forget who they are because of the daily rut of life, and they have their own roles as mothers, like I am one. So you tend to lose yourself. I think people should try to find time for themselves and really try to do things that they feel they should do, and not die thinking, kash ye kiya hota.
Led by experienced architect Mr. Rajesh Kalra, day one of the ride started from Manali.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All the 18 riders have to cover a distance of 36 kilometers to reach Marhi, which will be their first destination.
when we started our first day, we exactly know what to cover, how much time will it take, what all will be the stoppages. So expectation wise, it was bang on target.
Once the riders reach Marhe, they decide to trek further up on foot to get better acclimatized.
The rule of any height gain is you climb higher and sleep lower. Today we started from Manali at about 6,800, 7,000 feet, and we have reached our today's destination of Marhe, which is at about 11,000 feet. So it is a straight height gain of over 4,000 feet. It's a big height gain, and at this altitude the body is not ready for it just like that.
I think what Yatra and Times of India are doing with Times Passion Trails is amazing. I think it's great that they've reached out to such a large amount of people with this initiative.
The journey continues. The next day starts early. They now have to ride 80 kilometers from Marhe to reach their next destination, Keelong.
We are leaving early because one, the road is quite bad. It's very slushy, at least on the other side of Rohtang. So it's about 5:45 right now. We want to start early. We were waiting for some daylight. It's not advisable to ride in the dark.
On the way, the riders make a small stop to regroup before moving ahead.
Today has been awesome. The morning was a little hard because even though the elevation was like yesterday, but I think because of the height gain, it seemed more tiring. And after that, it was awesome. All of us have MTBs, but we trained in cities. So this is the first time we did like the off-roading experience. So great fun.
At every bend I see, yes, I have to cover that bend. At every switchback I see, yes, I have to cover that part. I have to reach my destination, that's all. And I say, God Almighty, please make me finish this stretch.
I think it's day 2 when it started taking a slight reality check. Okay, it's gonna be tough.
Okay, I can give it to the youngest one.
Give it to this little one.
If I have to plan a trip like this on my own, I can't. So there are a lot of passion seekers who got an opportunity through Yatra and through Times. I think it's a great opportunity for all the passion seekers to come and explore.
Over supper, Rajesh briefs them on the next day's plan.
Okay, this is the briefing for tomorrow. We will leave at 6 in the morning. From tomorrow, the trailer is over. From tomorrow, it will be the real ride which makes it the highest long distance road in the world. You will start experiencing it from tomorrow.
Today the riders ride through the beautiful valleys of Jispa to reach Zingzingbar, which is at an altitude of over 4,000 meters and distance of roughly 51 kilometers. It's a steady climb along the rocky valley to Jispa. But if you rise to this height too fast, your body may not deal with it well, and some of the riders were showing some signs of it.
When I try and overcome whatever is a hurdle, it tries to teach me that I'm geared up for whatever is lying before me. So I think I can overcome many things. I mean, gives me confidence. That is what is most important for me.
This is actually the day of the real high passes, Baralachala, which is 16,000 plus. We are already at 4,000 meters plus, where we are camped beyond Bar. No real easy days, it's all relative, but today will be the first of real tough days.
Today the cyclists will ride to conquer their second pass of the trail, Baralachala. It's a tough uphill ride followed by a sharp descent. Each pass gets progressively higher until the final descent to Leh. On the way up, some of the riders felt the effects of altitude. Owing to the low air pressure at high altitude, some of the riders experienced altitude sickness or acute mountain sickness.
और बाकी ठीक है पीछे बाकी तो जॉन को देखना पड़ेगा जॉन साहब वापस भी पीछे जाऊंगा ठीक है
If you get hit by AMS, it can even lead to death. So if you're doing a ride like that, it's good that you have proper rest, you are hydrating yourself, and you're taking it very easy.
The descent from Baralachala brings up a stunning change in the landscape. The dull grey slopes are replaced with spectacular ochre mountains, powdered with a little snow on top and laced at the edges with a dark reddish hue. It was another long day on the saddle and time to hole up.
Good, sir.
So what has happened is at least 2 people have been hit by altitude sickness quite badly. What we have decided is to be safe that we'll take them down to Leh. So I will accompany these 2 people to Leh, and I'll come back tomorrow or late this evening and be with the group again. They'll be in the hotel in Leh for about 2 days. On the 3rd day they will come back to Rumse, which is the last day of the ride, and all of us will then again ride back together. But as of now they are not able to take the altitude, and we're just not in a position to take any risks with their health because their oxygen level and the pulse rate were at dangerous levels.
Altitude sickness started kicking in. I suspected it might be a problem, and once we got over 4,000 it really started sort of headache, nausea, things like that, and really weakness. Some people do, some people don't. I think it doesn't really, I don't think it matters what age or what level of fitness you have. If it affects you, it affects you.
Plan is, we are short of one support vehicle. We have to be together. Never lose sight of the rider behind.
The rest of the cyclists depart from Sarchu on their bikes to reach the most challenging destination, Phang, which is roughly at a distance of 80 kilometers. It will be one of the longest and the hardest rides, as they will have to conquer not one but 2 most important and highest passes, Nakhi La and Lachlung La. The riders will also be crossing the famous Gata Loops, a series of 21 consecutive switchback climbs through which one gains 1,500 feet in 10 kilometers or so. The ride becomes desperately difficult with the wind direction changing at each turn on the road. The bike and the body both take heavy pounding on the bumpy trail, but the windswept landscape more than make up for it.
If you train hard, ordinary people can do extraordinary things.
today the plan is that we'll be riding from here, which is Pang, to Debring. Initial 7 kilometers will be uphill, and then we'll be hitting the most beautiful part of this ride. One of the most beautiful stretches, you can say, is More Plains. And today I'll be doing sweep, basically, which means that I'll be on the second group, and I'll be behind the group to make sure that any rider who is either not riding well or he's not well, I can make sure that either they are in safety of the car or I'm riding along with them.
The More Plains are a stretch of 40 odd kilometers which have an average elevation of 4,800 meters and is flanked by mountain ranges on both sides.
When you're in a car, you're in a closed frame. Whatever you see, it's in a closed frame. You can't feel anything. When you're doing such trails on a cycle, you can feel everything. There is not a single point that you will miss. And that's what I love about biking, you don't miss anything.
But it's really amazingly beautiful. And there's a sense of achievement once you've finished. Once you get into the groove, it's about keeping your pace and just, keep going.
The riders call it a day once they reached Debring.
We climb Tanglangla, which is the second highest pass in the world. It's about 22 kilometers from right where we are standing. The only concern is that the first 15 kilometers out of 22 is really, really bad. Everybody is very excited about how today is going to be. It's not going to be the toughest day, but it definitely is very high on everybody's list because it's the highest pass of the trip.
Okay, start, move!
It started snowing at the start of the ride. The road was completely not there. There was no surface. Effort was very, very, very high. Unlike the other passes, it was very tough. And a lot of us thought that will we be able to climb it?
Very good.
Once on top, they're overwhelmed with emotions on their accomplishment.
Yes! Wilji, great job!
From Taglangla, it's all the way downhill to Rumtse, where they will camp for the day.
Well, it is like they say, once in a lifetime experience. It is once in a lifetime because it was so hard. I'm not really sure if I would want to do it again. So experience has been really good and very, very tough.
Three days back, 2 of the participants had high altitude sickness, and we had to rush them down to Leh, which is far lower than where we were. But look at the passion. This is what we call passion. These 2 guys were miserable 2 days back, 3 days back. They are back here in Rumtse to ride the last leg, which is 72 kilometers from here to Sindhu Ghat, where we'll end our expedition. It's been phenomenal.
This is the last leg of the journey. Before the team leaves for Sindhu Ghat, they acknowledge the support staff and celebrate John Hall's birthday.
Yes, nature has taught me a lot of things. You cannot beat nature. This is what nature is doing us, making us sick and all that. But yes, I've become more stronger than I was.
Pine Passion Trail, for me, I would say it's a dream come true.
The trail culminates at Stoke Palace, followed by a gala dinner hosted by the King of Leh. They rode hard over 5 mighty Himalayan passes of dizzying heights, through landscape that can be lush meadows one day and moonscape the other, through canyons and streams and clouds and snow, to accomplish what only a few of us experience, the journey of a lifetime.
If you train hard, ordinary people can do extraordinary things.